You know, you get nervous when you talk to people that you talk to all the time. You know, I can go in a lot of different places and speak. One of my doctor friends said, now you need to start looking like a doctor, which I'm not that comfortable with, so I didn't do the tie, but I have a suit on. But I'm representing HASTEN International, which is Health and Salvation to Every Nation. I've been a part of their board for 37 years. They started almost 40 years ago. Dr. Dennis Pruitt, who practiced medicine here in Kernersville, had an urgent care where the Big Burger spot is over in there, and was also the head of the emergency room for almost 25 years at Forsyth. And he and I have been friends since I was in high school, and he really set me on fire about missions. I've had the opportunity to travel to 38 different countries and minister in so many different ways, most of it medical missions. Medical missions is the bait. It's what gets people to come and then hear about the gospel. When you take care of their physical needs, you can also begin to deal with the whole person and their spiritual needs. So what's different about HASTEN International is we only use international doctors. We don't use American doctors on the field. We tried that. The average stay for an American doctor coming to the mission field was about 2.5 to 3 years. And when you're talking about the salaries that they have to receive, it is really hard to run a mission. Our mission runs on about $275,000 a year. We have 10 doctors, full-time employment, and 10 nurses and dental assistants. So you can see how less expensive it is, but they're not less caliber. COVID virus, and I know this is going to sound weird, but he was giving ivermectin and it was healing people left and right. And if you know anything about ivermectin, you know that that's what we use when we medicate horses for worms. And it's actually the component that Trump used and recovered from his illness very quickly. Things have changed around the world. We have 6 countries that we represent with HASTEN. Haiti is a battlefield. Just received a message from our doctor there that his brother-in-law was murdered yesterday. The violence is just out of control. He runs a clinic outside of Port-au-Prince. He has run out of medicines and medical supplies. And I won't say a whole lot, but we have a way of getting those to him, and that's all I'm gonna say, because we're streaming, and I don't know, who hears what happened. And I'm a licensed USDA petting zoo, and I go in and do animal husbandry, but I also teach very quietly in villages and work with people, and we still continue to do medicine. The other thing that's really different about all of our clinics around the world is that they're all mobile. All of our clinics can travel to the jungle. I just came back from South America. We were in Colombia. We just hired 2 new doctors, a dentist and a physician. And we've been doing medical clinics. We kind of go in places pretty quiet because we don't want to draw attention. If you know anything about Colombia and South America, it's a very violent area. White people, especially people from America, are high-value targets for kidnapping and then ransoming, and that's true of a whole lot of countries that we're traveling in right now. So we just are very quiet. We leave quietly, we do our job, and then we come out. And they do mobile clinics 3 times a month, go into the jungle and into villages, and we do a lot of different things. On the field, we do surgeries, we deliver babies. I was in Africa 2 years ago, and I was at our clinic, and we have a doctor and a nurse there. And this guy is wheeling this lady up, and she's fully pregnant. You can see she's really big, and she's in a wheelbarrow. And he brings her up to the clinic, and he says to our doctor that he cannot help her deliver the baby. Well, he was never going to be able to help. She was going to die, and the baby was going to die because it was a bridge birth. So we had to do a cesarean, and I'm not real good with blood. I'm just going to be honest with you. But the nurse was attending some other people, and he had to do a cesarean. He said, come in and hold the flashlight so I can see what I'm doing, because we don't always have electricity. If you're traveling around the world and you're working in some of the areas we work in, cell phone lights and battery operated flashlights work. So he said, just hold it closer so I could see. And I was trying not to look and had to because I was getting the light in the wrong place. And I felt lightheaded and I said, I'm gonna pass out. And he said, don't you dare pass out. So I finished it. We delivered a healthy baby and a healthy mom. They had traveled 15.5 miles with that wheelbarrow over dirt roads, and we delivered their baby. We do about 30 babies at that clinic a month. I'm not very good at this. That's what we do. HASTEN exists to carry the message of salvation through healing. It's just an open door for us. It's an opportunity, and all of our doctors preach. It's one of the requirements that they have. Most of them have been educated in some type of biblical studies. We also have a church there, so we can minister to the people. And I do teaching, and we do a lot of clinics on cleanliness and just good practices. So we not only do medicine, we not only preach, but we actually get into the community and we belong to it. And I think that's the way you do ministry. It's the way that you touch the lives of people. Next slide. Did y'all remove me? Okay. Our vision is lead medical missions around the world. We're one of the largest operations that are continual. We're on the field. We're not coming back. Samaritan has huge medical mission, but they go in, do their impact, and then leave. And some of these fields, we've been there for over 30 years. And the other thing that we do is we also have people behind our doctors. Most of our physicians have young people that have grown up in the medical mission, and now they're taking over their parents' medical mission. The Henrys have 2 boys. Both of them have graduated with their medical degree, and they're moving right into that position. Dr. Dan has a daughter, and she's going to take over the position for him. He's only 40 years old, so he's got a long time to go. And the DeMays also, they're our doctors in the Dominican Republic. They also have a daughter and a son who are both doctors, and they're going to take over their position. So we've got a good history. Our dentist in South America is only 26 years old, but she's in Brazil right now finishing her surgical portion of dentistry so that she can fix cleft lips. America, Haiti, it is a curse if you have a cleft lip, and those kids are ostracized, and we can give them a whole new future through this surgery. So she's completing her school and will be done at the end of December to be able to do that. All right, go to the next slide. Y'all can read those. This just kind of shows you our process and what we do, providing medicine. We also feed people, we also clothe. The Rotary Club was really instrumental in 2 areas for us a number of years ago. One is we needed desks for our school. We didn't have any. And we run a large school there of almost 1,000 kids, and Rotary gave the money, and we were able to purchase a desk there and get that project done. The other thing was the well in Africa. In our one clinic in Dama, we didn't have any fresh water there. The water had salt, and it was impossible to drink. So we had to drill an artesian well, which went down about 1,500 feet. We got clean water, and you helped to pay for that. It was amazing because as we watched it, we had to dig a trench 1.5 miles to get the water to a central point. Because the African people, they're sweet as can be, but they will pirate everything you have. If a water line's coming through, they're gonna dig down and attach if it's close to the surface. And if you have any type of solar power, which is why we don't have power most of the time, they pirate it off of our solar panels and use it. But that's the culture. If you didn't have anything, you didn't have any water, what would you do? So we kind of understand that, so now we bury our stuff pretty deep so that they can't get to it. But I watch those guys with pick and axe dig all that way by hand. 4-foot deep trench so that we could put this water line in. And the whole community then benefits from that. There are a lot of hungry people in every country where we go, especially in Haiti right now. There's no transport, no food. It's just, I can't even explain to you what it's like. But I will be going in country. I will not tell anybody when I'm going in. I have a private flight that'll take me in. We're going to deliver a lot of medicine, and a lot of the things that they need, and I'll be there for about a day and then come back out of country. So most people won't even know that we've been there and done what we've done. But you know, it's worth risking something to do something. And we can't live by fear all the time. And this position that I'm taking as the CEO of HASTEN International is a scary thing. Right now I've got to raise almost $450,000. At this point, I'm not even full-time employed yet. I've raised $150,000 as of this date. So, and I'll tell you why. This kind of shows you where we're at around the world. And if you'll notice, there's a flag in the United States, right here in North Carolina. It's the first time we'll be working in the United States. And I've just purchased a medical trailer. It's actually down at Kernersville Dodge, their secure lot. They have a lot there with a guard because we have a lot of equipment on that vehicle. But it does not fit the needs of North Carolina because of radiation. And we're going to be doing x-rays on there. We're also doing sonograms. We have to have certain kind of walls, and we have to have radiation so it doesn't bleed over, protection. It'll have 2 suites in it. It'll have a dental suite in the front, and it'll have a medical suite in the back. And in the center will be a counseling area for people that are dealing with depression, anxiety. And we will work with the different counties that we'll be working in and help them to connect. Once we do analysis, once we do some work with them, if we find something that needs to be taken care of, then we can send them to somebody who's capable of moving them on, because we'll be a 2-day clinic most of the time, Fridays and Saturdays. And I've met with a number of dentists and doctors, and if you know anybody who's a dentist, doctor, PA, nurse practitioner, assistant to dentist, what we will do is we go into each area, we will ask for volunteer doctor and dentists. That's how we're going to keep our costs down. And at each location, we'd like to have 2 doctors, 2 dentists, and then their assistants and nurses. And we will see, on average, we do this around the world, and I'm assuming it'll be about the same here in the US. We'll see about 250 to 300 patients a weekend in 2 days. And that's why we want 2 doctors. We want to give one a break so that they can rest and put in the other doctor and just keep going. It'll be a continual process. This trailer is 44 feet long, it's 13.5 feet tall, it's 8 feet wide, and it will be equipped just like a regular dental office. I don't know, skip up and see, those are the places where we are. Tells you who our doctors are. Medical trailer. These are our 2 new doctors in South America, Tanya Camargo and Daniel Gonzalez. Really sharp young people and just hard workers, and we're excited about their work. This is the medical trailer. As you can see, we do not have a lift to bring in people who are handicapped, and that is a problem for us and the state of North Carolina, so that lift's going to have to be added. It is $28,000 to put that in. The dental chair that we have, this is an examination chair back here, but the dentist chair is right here, and it's a child's chair. Well, actually, you can see it right here. It's not big enough for most of you guys to sit in, okay? So we're going to change that out to a universal chair so that we can use it for both children and adults. This dental office has everything you will find in a modern dental office. The vac systems, the water picks, all of that will be on this vehicle. And the same with the examination room in the back. But the dentist who bought this was going to do free medical clinics in Georgia. He was able to do that for 2 months, and then he had a massive heart attack and he died. His wife could not pay for this trailer because they paid almost $300,000 for it. And it was repossessed, and a bank in Georgia had it. A gentleman in South Carolina bought it. He was going to make it into a car hauler. He has Shelby Mustangs that he takes all over the country. His wife got in the trailer and said, "What was this used for?" And he said, "Well, they were using it for medical missions." And she said, "You're not using it as a truck hauler." That's a bad idea. She was very superstitious and said she thought God might come down on him. So I don't think he'd do it, but it worked out for me. I was able to buy it. I didn't pay that kind of money for it. And with the upfitting and everything, we're only going to have about $350,000 in it. As you can see, it has an extremely large diesel generator. They tell me that that thing can generate 2 households, which we have to have. We can't have failure when we're doing something medically or dental on that trailer. And this is exactly like a house air conditioner, and every part of the trailer has air conditioning units, and you can see some of those down. This is our entry point where we'll register the patients and take care of their needs. This is a 365 x-ray machine, which we are not going to keep on the vehicle. It takes up way too much room, and we're not going to do extensive dental work. Amy Jo told me that if she'd have known, she just bought one for $100,000. And I said, would you like to buy another one? We got it. So I don't know who we're going to sell that to, but Travis Lefevre, I got to tell you, he's part of our club. He's been so good to me as far as his guys giving advice on how to upfit this trailer to meet the standards of North Carolina. They're going to do the upfit for us, and he's advocating for me today with a group of people in a foundation because it keeps me up at night thinking, okay, I got to raise $350,000 more. Our organization has never raised that kind of money. I told you our whole budget was $265,000. So it seems impossible, but then I realized God's a great God, and we have a great mission. And did I tell you we're going to do all this for free? That when we move into a location, you know, there are a lot of people doing this, but they charge to do it, as we found out, and it's very expensive to bring a trailer like this into your community. We're not charging for it. We're going to back it. We're going to have people help us fund it, and there have been a lot of gracious people in Kernersville, I will tell you that, who have given thousands and thousands of dollars already because they believe in this project. The way I learned about all of these needs was through our food truck. I'm just going to be honest with you. And Terry can tell you, Terry, when we were at Mustin Crutchfield, we were there every day during COVID, and we fed hundreds and literally thousands of people through there. That truck was invaluable. He was delivering food to people who were in great need and couldn't get out, and you know how COVID shut everything down. And I began to realize how many needs there were, and then as I went into communities, and you know, last Sunday, our truck goes out at 5:30 in the morning, and it goes to Greensboro. We have 150 to 200 homeless and veterans over there in a park. And we built a strong relationship with them, and they have absolutely no medical care. You know, everybody says, well, go to the VA. Well, if you don't have transportation, you don't have ability, you don't have any money. People always give me answers, and I say, okay, well, how are we going to do that? You know, how are we going to transport them? This trailer is small enough that I can go into any area, set up, and help people, and then move to another area the same day if I had to, which means that, you know, we can work with schools, we can work with nursing facilities, because sometimes they don't get the greatest dental care. I'm just going to be honest with you. We run 3 buses to nursing homes here in Kernersville every Sunday, and I know those people, and I know their needs, and their needs aren't always met medically. So that inspired me. God gave me the vision. He produced a trailer. This thing ended up in Winston-Salem. A friend of mine said, it's not what we can't afford it, and it's not what we were looking for to use. Are you interested, Pete? So I went to my board, and we extended ourselves, and we bought the trailer, and now I've just about paid back all that money. So hopefully we're going to move forward, and I'll answer any questions that you have. But if you have medical people in your background, we can use that contact and use that help. And I promise we won't use them more than once every 6 months. And we are going to extend out of this state. Donnie Lamberth met with me a few weeks ago, and we have 2 counties in the eastern part of North Carolina who have no urgent care, no hospital, and no ambulance service in their county. And it's a very depressed area, very poor area. They are in grave need of medical and dental, and we're going to be working in that area. We'll also do rescues. Of course, we can't take this to Hawaii. I wish we could. It'd be a great help to have this mobile trailer like this set up and do medical care, but you know, we've done hurricanes, we've done tornadoes, we've done fires, we've done all kinds of rescue, and this trailer will be available to do all that too. So, and then I do have, all my board members are medical doctors. So I do have that access where I can call them and say, hey, I don't have a volunteer, can you please come to this location? And they would come and assist me. So I did want to say that because that's really important. We're not just going to work in North Carolina, but we're going to work in desperate areas, Appalachia, some of those areas. All right, any questions? Yeah, Jim?
You need logos or anything on the outside of that?
Yes, we do.
Take care of it, no charge.
You don't have to do that, but I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to have it logoed up. So, thank you. He's been very gracious to help us out. Michael?
What do you pull that trailer with?
Not a Freightliner, because then I have to have a CDL license. And I may not always be able to find a CDL driver. Kernersville Dodge, we learned this by pulling this thing. He sent a truck to pick it up to take it to this lot, and it nearly squashed that truck to the ground. That was a 3500 Dodge. So we have to have a 5500 Dodge with air suspension that will lift it up because of the weight of the generator and the air conditioner in the front. But it'll pull it easy. If you remember, I owned a petting zoo for years and pulled trailers this size. So I'll do that for a while until we get it built up. But I do have 3 CDL drivers in the church, and all of them volunteered to drive this on different occasions. Yes, sir. Eric?
Do you have any security concerns once you're on the road?
Just overnight, what we will do if we can't secure it at a church, okay, which is where we usually work out of, then we'll take it to the police station and park it there. We will have narcotics on this, of course, because we have to have painkiller to put people asleep, anesthesia because of some of the tooth extractions and things. So there will be some of that on our vehicle. So it also has a very secure area in it. I won't tell you all about the security system, but all the doors and windows are alarmed. It also has cameras that observe the entire trailer. We also have satellite on this. The guy who built this really knew what he was doing. So, but you can't, as you know, Eric, you can't secure everything all the time. We're not going to take money, and we'll try to avoid a narcotics issue. But most people, at least where we're working and doing the food service, those are really dangerous areas. And we met with some of the gang leaders. I sat down with them and said, hey, we're going to be in your area. We're feeding your kids. We're feeding your wives. Would you please help us to keep it secure? And they've been very faithful to do that. We've not had one issue in all the hundreds of trips we've been out. And I kind of feel the same thing's going to happen with our medical vehicle. They need this. They need it for their kids. They need it for their families. So that's my heart. So that's what we're going to be doing. Is that it? Thank you. Appreciate it.